Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Thoughts from the Bubble. I'm Kiara, your host, and I invite you into my bubble where I talk about random shit. And the random shit for today is being in uncomfortable spaces and how we constantly allow or put ourselves in those uncomfortable spaces. So, for me, I feel like I've allowed myself to be in uncomfortable spaces, especially when it pertains to work. Being in those uncomfortable spaces or those hostile work environments is what they traditionally call it. Um, and I just remember early in my career how I allowed like my bosses and coworkers to kind of talk about me in a way that was, looking back, was disrespectful. I remember I had a boss who, she made a comment and stated it was okay for me to be a pizza girl. So let me give you some context. So I was at a job and we were serving pizza. I forget, we were serving pizza for some sort of seminar or something to children. We were putting on a seminar for children and how they can grow in the workplace, blah, blah, blah. So we put on, it was time to serve them lunch. And at that time, I was an HR coordinator. And my boss, who was a generalist, said to me, I asked her, like, hey, are you going over to help us put the pizza out and serve this pizza? And her comment to me was, oh no. And just the look on her face was twisted up. Oh no, I'm not serving pizza. It's okay if you do that. You can serve pizza, but I'm not serving pizza. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, what makes me a pizza server? But I mean, it's okay. And then that continued. That was kind of the opening gates for her to throw little jabs at me. Some of the jabs I caught, some of them I didn't. Looking back, I was uncomfortable with some of the things that she was saying to me. And what I've learned over the years is people will play you if you let them. People will talk about you badly if you let them. At work, your supervisors and things will give you more work without more pay if you let them. So people will play in your face if you let them. And it's up to us, whoever you are, up to me, to advocate for ourselves, to remove ourselves from those uncomfortable spaces. And I don't know why I thought that miraculously someone would jump in and save me and say, oh, don't talk to Kiara like that, or oh, we see Kiara's worth, let's promote her. Or I thought someone else would do it until I waited and waited and waited and allowed myself to remain in these uncomfortable spaces, to remain in environments where it wasn't healthy. Being in hostile work environments, not even work environments, just being in hostile environments is not good. We aren't supposed to be in those environments. So why do we stay? How do we get to the point where we constantly put up with stuff? Is it because it's attached to a paycheck? Is it because our paycheck is attached to our livelihood? So we feel if we speak up or we remove ourselves that we won't have our livelihood anymore? And I feel like with me, that's what it was. Like, my livelihood at one point was tied to a paycheck. I was so immersed into work that was my identity. That was it. Like, that's all people could say about me. Oh, she's a hard worker. She's dependable. Like, she's always going to be at work. Where's Kiara? At work. Working 10, 12 hours, putting my blood, sweat, and tears into this, learning and growing, a company. Like, I'm giving them my all. And what am I getting in return? I'm in an environment where I'm not welcomed. I'm in an environment where I got to tiptoe around my supervisors. I got to tiptoe around my coworkers. I'm supposed to take what they give me. I'm supposed to take the belittlement. I'm supposed to take them being condescending. Like, yeah, like our society is set up for where we're supposed to take. I remember I had a supervisor who yelled at one of her employees in her department. Like, she yelled at her very aggressively, like yelled at her. And when the employee responded in the same manner, oh my God, why would she talk to me that way? She was rude and disrespectful to me. Okay, well, what made her be rude and disrespectful to you? You were rude and disrespectful first. You can't get upset on how people react to you coming at them. Like, because now that person's on the defense. I know I'm on the defense. If you're yelling at me and talking at me crazy, I'm on the defense. I'm gonna give that back to you. I'm not gonna sit there and take it. No. And honestly, this is gonna sound very bad, but was COVID a blessing? And I know a bunch of people, lost their lives. Some people got very, very sick, and they're still sick to this day. And it was just a sad time, but it was a time that people woke up. Like, the world woke up, and you looked and you said, hold on, I could die tomorrow. And on my last day, I'm putting myself in an uncomfortable situation, putting myself in a hostile environment. No, like, as people, I feel like we bossed up during COVID. We put our hands up and said, you know what? This ain't worth it. I know I did. I know, like, during COVID, it was a very rough time for me because, again, I was so immersed into work, and then just seeing so many people who died. And thank God that I didn't get sick, but there were a bunch of people around me who did. And I just remember thinking, like, whoa, if I were to get sick and this was my last week on earth, I would regret it. And that's sad to say, but I would. Because I didn't live. I continuously put myself in situations where I was uncomfortable, waiting for someone to drag me out of it. No, I have to drag myself out of it. I have to look around and say, you know what, if this is my last day here, I don't want to be at work. I don't want to be in this environment. I don't want to be uncomfortable or be scared on my last day on earth. No, I want to live it. I want to go where I'm appreciated. I want to be in an environment that is so healthy for me that I'm just happy, and that genuine happy where I'm just smiling and I don't have any worries, and it's just, I'm just free. That's a freedom. And COVID made me look at that and look at my life and be like, this is not what we're meant to be here for. Like, we're not supposed to be allowing our careers to be our livelihood. No. That's not life. That's not why we were put here. And I'm glad that God opened my eyes to see that. Because honestly, the track that I was going down was just a track of unhappiness. Because I would never be fulfilled with work, especially not in those places that I wasn't wanted. Like, that's not supposed to fulfill me. And all the hard work that I put into this company, what did I get in return? I got passed over for promotions. I got told I was a pizza girl, that what I'm doing, like, I can do the lesser stuff. Like, that's okay. But I took it. Why? Because it was attached to my livelihood. Now? No. Mm-mm. No. You won't play me in my face. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not allowing that. So we have to advocate for ourselves. A superhero won't come down and save you. You be your own superhero. You remove yourself from that situation and go find your happy. Go find something that is fulfilling to you. And if you don't know what's fulfilling to you, start with your hobbies. What do you like to do? I like to talk, hence why I'm doing this podcast. But it's, if I'm saying to myself, if this is my last day on earth, I'm happy because I'm putting myself out there. I'm giving advice to people, and hopefully, someone listens and someone takes it, and it makes them not make the same mistakes that I made. I would be fine with that. I would be fine with how I spent my last day here on earth. Now, 3 years ago, would I be happy? No. No, I wouldn't. So each and every one of us, sorry, y'all, losing my voice here. Each and every one of us, your own happiness is your own happiness. You can't look to someone to make you happy. You have to find that happiness within you. You have to find what you like. You have to find what fulfills you. And remove yourself from those uncomfortable spaces. Sorry. Don't let people play in your face, because people will do it if you allow them. Stop allowing your bosses to talk to you crazy. Stop allowing your coworkers to talk to you crazy, because we all know that one coworker who thinks they're the supervisor, who think they got, a manager title, or this their company. It's like, newsflash, honey. All of us are replaceable. You are replaceable at your job. The supervisor is replaceable at their job. Hell, the managers are replaceable at their jobs. Hell, the VPs are replaceable at their job. All of us are replaceable. If we were to die today, everyone will be sad for one day, probably not even a day, a couple hours. They're going to be sad. And guess what? Your position will be posted, and they're going to be looking for your backfill. Put that in perspective. If you were to die today, your job does not care. They don't care. Who cares? Your family. They care. So stop giving your all to these workplaces, and don't be afraid to speak up. Let's stop attaching our livelihood to our paychecks. Stop doing that. Speak up for yourself. Advocate for yourself, because no one's going to do it for you. All right, y'all. That's the thoughts for today. Hopefully someone listened and was able to take something from the conversation today. Just don't let people play you in your face. Boss up.